So we're diving into something today that I think every PhD student and recent graduate needs to hear, but honestly, most of us figure this out way too late in the game. We're talking about networking, but not the kind that makes you want to hide in the library stacks.
Right, and I love how this article frames it. It's not about collecting business cards at awkward mixers, though we've all been to those, haven't we? This is about building what they call strategic bridges between the theoretical world we know so well and the practical realm where our research actually gets applied.
That bridge metaphor really resonates with me because I think about my own transition out of grad school. And honestly, I felt like I was standing on one side of this massive chasm, holding my dissertation, wondering how the hell I was supposed to get to the other side, where all the opportunities were.
And here's what's fascinating. The article talks about how academia operates on completely different success metrics than the professional world. In our ivory tower, it's all about publications, citations, peer recognition within these very narrow disciplinary boundaries.
But out there, it's collaboration, communication across disciplines, translating those complex ideas we love into solutions that actually work for real problems. And your network becomes this cultural interpreter helping you learn these new rules of the game.
I'm curious about something, though. The article mentions building networks in, quote, strategic layers. Can you break that down? Because I think a lot of PhDs here immediately think they need to start cold calling CEOs or something.
Oh God, yes. No, it's much more systematic than that. So think of it like building concentric circles, starting from where you already are. The first layer is your immediate academic community, your advisor, committee members, fellow grad students, department colleagues.
And here's the thing that surprised me. The article emphasizes not underestimating these relationships. That PhD student working next to you in the lab, they might be running a department or leading a startup in 10 years.
That's such a long-term perspective. I think we get so caught up in the immediate stress of finishing our degrees that we forget we're building relationships for a 30-year career, not just a job search.
Exactly. Then you move outward, broader academic community, industry professionals who use knowledge from your field, and finally entrepreneurs and business leaders. Each layer serves different functions at different career stages.
What really struck me was this concept of network effects. Borrowing from tech and economics, the idea that your network becomes this collective brain trust where the value grows exponentially as it expands.
And there's this fascinating distinction between strong ties and weak ties. Counterintuitively, those weak ties, people outside your immediate circle, often provide more valuable opportunities because they have access to different pools of information and resources.
That makes so much sense when you think about it. Your close colleagues probably know about the same job openings and funding opportunities you do. But that person you met at a conference 2 years ago, they're plugged into completely different networks.
Noma, speaking of conferences, I want to dig into the digital versus in-person networking piece because we've all had to adapt to this virtual world, but the article suggests face-to-face interactions are still uniquely valuable.
Yes, and I think there's real wisdom here. Digital platforms, LinkedIn, ResearchGate, virtual conferences, they're incredibly powerful for reaching across geographical boundaries and connecting with people you'd never meet otherwise.
The article gives some really practical advice about LinkedIn too. Instead of just listing your publications, translate your academic achievements into language that shows practical impact. Don't just say you published research on protein folding. Explain how that contributes to drug discovery or biotechnology applications.
But here's what virtual networking can't replace. Those deeper conversations, the nonverbal communication that builds trust, the serendipitous hallway conversations at conferences, where you end up talking for an hour about something completely unexpected.
I remember reading about research showing that people form stronger emotional connections through in-person interactions. There's something about sharing physical space that creates bonds that are harder to establish through a screen.
And conferences become these concentrated networking opportunities. But the article emphasizes strategic preparation, studying the program beforehand, preparing your elevator pitch, focusing on coffee breaks and poster sessions rather than just sitting in lectures.
The elevator pitch thing is so important. I used to launch into this 10-minute explanation of my research methodology whenever someone asked what I studied. Their eyes would glaze over within 30 seconds.
Right, you need to be able to communicate your work's relevance to different audiences. A fellow academic might want to hear about your theoretical framework, but an industry professional wants to know how your research solves real-world problems.
Now, here's where the article gets really interesting. This idea of building value through collaboration. It's not just about what you can get from your network, but what you can contribute.
This shifts the whole dynamic from transactional to relational. Instead of just reaching out when you need something, you're constantly looking for ways to help others. Make introductions, share resources.
Joint research projects, co-authored publications, mentoring junior researchers. These create extended working relationships that often evolve into lasting professional connections. And serving as a mentor demonstrates leadership capabilities that are valued in both academic and industry contexts.
I love that they mention consulting and advisory roles too. Offering your expertise to businesses or organizations, even pro bono initially, helps you build a track record while developing relationships with people who think about practical applications of research.
The article also addresses something I think we don't talk about enough, the long-term sustainability of these relationships. It's not enough to build a network, you have to maintain it.
And that requires intentional effort. Regular check-ins, sharing relevant articles, congratulating people on achievements. Social media actually helps here. You can stay aware of your connections' professional developments without being intrusive.
But the real gold standard is personal communication. Schedule those coffee meetings, make those phone calls, send personalized messages that show you're genuinely interested in their success, not just your own.
What I find inspiring is this idea of building a professional legacy, where your networking efforts contribute not just to your own career success, but to strengthening your entire professional community.
Right? Actively connecting others in your network, hosting networking events, mentoring junior colleagues, you become this valuable connector, and that positions you at the center of opportunities and information flow.
There's something beautifully recursive about this approach. By helping others build their networks and succeed in their careers, you strengthen your own position while contributing to the advancement of your field.
I think this ties into something the article mentions about, quote, cultural capital, understanding those unwritten rules and norms that govern different industries. Your network becomes your cultural interpreter.
And for PhD graduates especially, this is crucial. We're trained in academic culture, but the professional world operates differently. Having mentors and colleagues who can help you navigate these new environments makes all the difference.
Before we wrap up, I want to touch on the AI tools mentioned in the article. There are increasingly sophisticated platforms that can help identify relevant conferences, suggest potential collaborators, even assist with outreach messages.
But the key insight is that AI can enhance efficiency, but it can't replace authenticity. You can't automate genuine relationship building, mutual respect, and consistent follow-through.
That's such an important distinction. Use AI to identify opportunities and streamline administrative tasks, but invest your time in developing real relationships through meaningful conversations and mutual support.
What strikes me most about this whole approach is how it reframes networking from this necessary evil into something much more positive, building a community of mutual support and shared success.
Exactly. And for PhDs who often struggle with feeling isolated or disconnected from broader professional opportunities, this kind of strategic relationship building becomes essential for career success and personal fulfillment.
The investment you make in building these relationships continues paying dividends throughout your career, opening doors to opportunities you can't even imagine yet, and providing the support system necessary for long-term success.
And remember, this isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about leveraging your existing strengths, your analytical thinking, your expertise, your ability to learn quickly, in a more connected, collaborative way.
Because at the end of the day, whether you stay in academia, transition to industry, or launch your own venture, success depends on relationships. The research is important, the degrees matter, but it's the people who will amplify your impact and open pathways to possibilities.
I think that's the perfect place to leave it. Your doctorate isn't just a credential, it's the foundation for building bridges into communities and opportunities that can transform not just your career, but your ability to make a real difference in the world.
Thanks for joining us on Alchemist Tribune Deep Dives. We're the academic renegade crew, reminding you that your doctorate is more than a degree. It's your launchpad to entrepreneurial success. For more insights, visit us at the Alchemist Tribune, where we're bridging the gap between academia and enterprise. Until next time, keep innovating.